Today we are going to be discussing a very intimate topic, but very much so needed topic as we get into what you guys consider, and I say you guys because I don't celebrate holidays, but what you guys would consider the love months. The intention of this video is to be able to help anybody who's dealing with womb trauma or sexual trauma and helping them to understand how that is affecting their relationship so that they can make better choices, so that they can have better romantic relationships. That is the intention of this video today, and if it's something that you feel like you need, make sure that you keep watching and give it a thumbs up if you get any value from it. It really does help you guys.
Yinka. I'm the spiritual type, and I'm a boss too. I'm a strong black woman. I can teach you femininity, the life of luxury. Come chill with me and let me show you. Yinka.
Peace and love, family. I am Ocean Yinka, your favorite womb goddess. And if we are meeting for the first time, welcome. I'm so glad to see you here. Go ahead and pull up a seat because I know you're going to love it here. And if you are not meeting for the first time, y'all already know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button and share button and drop me some purple hearts down in the comments so that we can get in the good graces of the YouTube guys. Okay, so I already have a video up about what sexual trauma is, the different levels of sexual trauma. It's not always the drastics. You can get womb trauma from a various of things, but a lot of times it comes from sexual trauma. So I'm not going to go into depth about what is sexual trauma or how do you know if you have it. Just go back and watch that video. But what I will talk about in this video is some of the signs that you might be having sexual trauma, and then what are some solutions that could help your relationship or if you are dating. One of the main patterns that I see when it comes to women who have experienced sexual trauma, which is a very high number, a lot of us have shared the same narrative of being molested, having weirdos hitting on us as children, being groped at parties, being date raped and things like that. A lot of us as women across the world share this narrative, unfortunately. So it's very much so common, but the solution to the problem is not so much common. So hopefully if you are watching this video that you get some type of clarity and insight and empowerment to get into a better situation, because you are worth more than whoever your abuser tried to bring you down to. So I want you guys to know that first and foremost. Like, just because somebody took advantage of you, just because somebody was being a coward and mistreated you or played against your vulnerabilities and things like that, that says more about them than it does you. But I want to help you guys to not have those experiences anymore. So the very first thing that I notice a lot with women who have not healed past this, they have this codependency where they just need to feel love. They're looking for love in all the wrong places. So they're tolerating abuse in relationships, whether it be physical, emotional, verbal, it doesn't matter. They're tolerating abuse. They're tolerating less than what they deserve because they don't know any better, and because it's so common, they look at it as it being normal, and it's not normal, and it's definitely not okay. So I want you guys to understand that codependency, if you are somebody who has to be in a relationship, you don't know how to date, you don't know how to just casually like somebody, then you probably are dealing with some type of sexual trauma and some type of blockages in your lower chakras. The next thing that I notice a lot with women who are dealing with sexual trauma is that they are also hypersexual. So I definitely see this a lot with women who need to be in a relationship. Most of the time they need to be in a relationship because if they're not in a relationship, they're going to be out here having sex with any and everybody. Like when they're single, they for the streets for sure. And when they're not, when they're in relationships, they're still hypersexual, but they're at least content with one person. So a lot of times they tell themselves they need to be in a relationship just so they don't keep increasing their body count, because they feel like, I just still have to have sex. Like I still have to be intimate, and I'd rather be intimate with one person and dealing with them and their bullshit than to constantly be, trying to fill this void with multiple people. So hypersexuality is one of those things, and I'm not speaking at all. Obviously there's always exceptions to the rule, but I'm speaking general when I'm talking about this. So when you look at sex workers, when you look, and y'all, I'm definitely not judging. Do what you do, make your money, sis. Don't let it make you. But I'm just saying this off of observation. As somebody who's been in this industry for a very long time, I was in the entertainment industry for a few years. I still have friends who are in the entertainment industry, and I understand it. I understand the logic behind it, but I also understand that a lot of those women are hurt. And I'm all for women's empowerment. I'm all for, feminism. I'm all for, reclaiming your energy back and things like that. But before all of those things, I'm also a healer. I'm also a realist. I'm also someone who wants you to be doing things that's for your betterment, not just because your ego is getting big. Like, okay, well, we fuck him and duck him too, or I ghosted him after. It's not cute when either gender does it. Let's be clear. But as a woman, a lot of times you're doing it as a trauma response, as where a man is doing it because it's just in his animalistic nature. So let's be clear on that. The hypersexuality, where if you can't sustain or be abstinent for at least 90 days, then you probably have an addiction to sex. You probably are codependent on other people to feel happiness, or to feel intimate, or to feel nurture. You have to be with someone else, and that is a trauma response to having womb trauma or sexual trauma. Quick commercial break, you guys. If you are wanting to tap into your inner herbalist, your inner alchemist, I encourage you guys to click the link in my description and register for my Medicine Woman course. So every single Thursday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, I train women and certify them absolutely free to be medicine women. So in this course, I teach you how to run a yoni steaming business. I teach you how to heal holistically, mind, body, and spirit. This is a 4-hour training, and I teach it every single week live, just me live every single week, for free. Yes, for free. There's no gimmicks whatsoever. So if you are wanting to have a medicine cabinet that looks just like this, then I encourage you guys to go click the link in my bio right now and register for class. And I'll see you then. And then the last thing I would say that I've noticed is that a lot of women who have sexual trauma, they're very possessive and insecure in relationships. So, and they go hand in hand. Being insecure and being possessive are literally the same thing in relationships. What I mean by possessive is you are checking phones. You are, can't nobody look at you different. You're eyeballing a waitress. He can't leave out the house with a haircut without you. Oh, I'm riding too. Like, is a thin line between protecting what's yours. And I wouldn't even say there's a thin line, because nobody belongs to you. So it's not even what's yours. But there's a thin line between you maintaining what you have and securing what you already have, and being possessive because you're insecure. Very thin line, but there's a huge difference between the two. And most women are, and it's not just women, but again, I'm talking to women, but most women who have different, who have womb trauma, a lot of them are very insecure in their relationships, and they're very possessive in their relationships, where they can't look at nobody else, they can't talk to nobody else. There's this you're watching whose photos he's liking on social media and things like that. Y'all, that is exhausting, and I encourage you to heal past that so that you can have a healthier relationship with your partner and with yourself, because again, that is very exhausting. It's very stressful, and most of the time when you attract those type of people, that's what type of energy you're on. You're attracting people who don't respect your boundaries. You're attracting cheaters. You're attracting people who don't respect you, because they already sense, they smell that prey in you. Like you're vulnerable, like you're needing love, you need attention. So they know, hey, if I sprinkle a little bit of attention here on her, I buy her a nice box of chocolates or something, I tell her I love her every night, and things like the small things, we get into a point where the little things, or the things that should be mandatory, the very minimal, you guys are getting overstimulated by the bare minimum, and that's where the problem comes in, because you're looking at somebody opening doors for you, somebody texting you frequently, somebody saying nice things to you. You're looking at that as, oh, they really like me, when that's literally basic human decency. And as a man or somebody who's pursuing you, they should be doing those things anyway. So you shouldn't be looking at those as if it's something spectacular. It's literally just somebody showing interest in you. And we're so used to, when you're dealing with sexual trauma for so long, you get so used to people treating you a certain way that when you see somebody slightly be nice to you, then it's like, oh, I'm in love. And it ends up being that you are now in relationships that are not healthy for you, and you're staying in relationships long term, with people who are not compatible with you, with people who don't really like you for real. They just are feeding off of your vulnerability. So those are some of the ways to notice if you are dealing with sexual trauma. Again, go back and watch the video that I have as far as breaking down how to, like, different levels of sexual trauma or different levels of womb trauma. Go back and watch that video. But I just wanted you guys to be aware of, these are some of the traits of somebody. If you are dealing with those things, here are some of the solutions that you can use to actually get through that. The very first thing that I want to say, as far as you are on your healing journey, you are doing things to unpack or to peel back the layers of your trauma. If you are somebody who is starting this journey, go read my ebook, Secrets to a Goddess Pussy. The link will be down in the description. But go read that book if you are somebody who's starting your healing journey, or you're trying to figure out, where do I start? Where do I start the shadow work? Where do I start to unpack these layers? Where do I start? Go get that ebook. It's a free download, and it's going to give you all the information that you need to start this journey, this healing journey. And for those of you who have already started your journey and you're still dating, or you're still, trying to coexist in the world with other people, you're coming out of your hermit phase and you're getting back into the game. I just dropped the ebook, Conscious Dating Checklist. That ebook is going to be the ebook that you need right now. That is going to give you everything that you need to know about dating once you've gone through your healing phase. So I talk about how to start off, how to know when it's time for you to go back in the game, to go back outside, when it's time or safe for you to actually be dating again, and then all of the red flags that you're looking at in relationships, and some of the things just to look at as a rule of thumb as you're going back into the world after you've been doing some healing, so that you don't backlash and fail test after test because you have still not healed properly, or you just weren't ready. You went out before you were ready. So definitely go get that ebook. If you are back, if you're trying to conscious date and you're getting back out there, because it's definitely needed. I see a lot of women put in a lot of work in healing, and then they go back and they get tested by the universe to see if they've actually grown, and then they end up not growing whatsoever. Or the people who are single or celibate for years, abstinent for years, and then they go back to dating, and then they see that they're still attracting the same people because they didn't do anything in the time that they were by themselves. Like, being isolated and actually being intentional on working on yourself when you're not dealing with other people is very important. You just being by yourself doesn't mean that you're learning anything or that you're healing. It just means that you're by yourself. So that ebook helps you on both ends, when to know that you're ready to go out. There's a checklist for that, and there's also checklists for things to watch out for, how to not go back to being toxic and things like that. So definitely go check out that ebook. So the first thing that I want to tell you guys, when it comes to the solutions to you maintaining healthier relationships, this is after you've already healed some of your sexual trauma, you've been aware of your sexual traumas, and you've already started the process of healing them. You're more aware, you're more accountable. At this point, you want to make sure that when you start back dating, that you are getting informed. That's the very first thing I want to say. Be informed. Know everything about your own sexual interests. Explore all of those things during your hermit season. Know what things you like. Be able to please yourself. Know what things you like in a bedroom. Know what things you don't like. Know what you're willing to explore and what you're not willing to explore. Know your status. Know your history and things like that. Your health history. Know what things you're allergic to and what you're not. Like, know everything that you need to know about yourself first. But then also, when you're introducing someone else or bringing someone else into the bedroom, make sure that you know all those things first about them too. Safe sex is the best sex, y'all. And when I mean safe, I'm not just talking about pregnancy. I'm talking about making sure that you're not getting infected, making sure that I know for myself, I don't date guys who are not vegan or who don't have a clean diet, because I know the risk that I'm having on myself when I am sleeping with somebody who is not equally yoked, I should say. I'm not gonna do it. So I'm gonna make sure that we are even compatible in that way before I even be intimate with you. Like, are you willing to fast for 30 days to be able to, get some cookies in a cookie jar? Are you willing to change your lifestyle? If not, then I have to take accountability and say, hey, we're just not the thing. You can be 100% perfect or 95% perfect on all those other things, but if you're not willing to do that, I'm going to let you go. And you have to also be ready. That goes with healing from that codependency. You have to be ready when the universe tests you again, when the universe is trying to see, have you actually grown? Have you actually healed? Are you still attracted to those same things? Once you get to a certain level of healing, you will repel some of the things that you used to be attracted to. You will literally be disgusted at some of the things that you used to be attracted to, because it will no longer serve you, and it no longer will be appeasing to you, or it will no longer be appealing to you. So when you are still attracted to some of those same things, that just lets me know that you still have a little bit more growing to do, and that you might not quite be ready to be interacting with other people intimately like that. So take that into consideration when you're on this journey as well. Stop settling. This is not the time to settle. This is the time to be very intentional and deliberate on the things that you want, so that you can have a great relationship. You do not want to start your relationship with making all these sacrifices. If you have to make sacrifices throughout the gate, at the gate of the relationship, when you're trying to get to know somebody, you making sacrifices, 10 times out of 10, that person is not for you, because the sacrifices that you're making off of infatuation, like, oh, well, this might not be that bad, down the road is going to be the exact same thing as to why the relationship didn't work. So there's no need to make huge sacrifices in the beginning of a relationship. If it has not gotten to a point where y'all are, building something intentional together, then it's not worth you making any sacrifices for. Do not compromise anything at this stage, because it's going to end up you not being satisfied down the line. Point blank, period. Being a woman is hard. Not only do we have to deal with menstruation, fluctuating hormones, and childbirth, but we also have to uphold the social standard of beauty while being underpaid in the work industry and being undermined in the healthcare industry. As we all know, stress causes a lot of trauma in the body, and as women, we carry our stress in our lower chakras. So that's in our hips, our back, and in our wombs. It saddens me to say that the average woman in America is battling with some form of hormonal dysfunction that's hindering her from showing up to the world as the best version of herself. Western culture has us truly believing that our womb space is nothing more than an incubator. This is why they push the agenda of birth control and hysterectomies on us so heavily. I've helped so many women just like you conceive, find their soulmates, rekindle their marriage, and even land their dream careers simply by just using my holistic methods to heal the womb. What if I told you that you didn't have to live on birth control, painkillers, and blood thinners for the rest of your life? And what if I told you this could be your reality in only 90 days? There are over 600,000 hysterectomies performed annually in the US. Don't be the next victim. Go to mysnatchshop.com right now and book a free consultation with me so that we can get you some real healing. But before you go, breathe with me, sis. You got this. So as I say that brings me to number 2, which is being open to trying new things. it's okay to cut people off quick, but at the same time, be aware of why you're cutting people off. Are you cutting them off just because they're challenging you, or are you cutting them off because you just don't feel like it's a good match? If you're cutting people off not because they did anything wrong, not because they broke one of your non-negotiables, but simply because they're challenging you to explore different things and you don't know how to feel about it because it's new to you, then you want to be more open to different perspectives, be more open to more fun things in a bedroom, be more open to doing things that's outside of intimacy, outside of the bedroom. Like you want to be more open to just trying new things. If you're not somebody who typically goes to museums or do things outside like hiking and things like that, and you're introduced to somebody who loves to do those things, be open to at least trying new things before you just cancel them out because it's something that you're not used to. And that's going to also give you a level of trust. If you can go through those things and still find pleasure in it, if you can try new things and then find joy in them, then you'll have a certain level of trust for that person because they've now unlocked something in you that you didn't even know was in there. You might be really good at something that you had no idea about, but that person introduced you to it. So that'll bring you a certain level of intimacy within itself with that person. The third thing is being able to communicate verbally and non-verbally your sexual desires. You need to be able to communicate what you like and what you don't like, what you're willing to try and what is just a non-negotiable. You need to be able to communicate that and be firm, be assertive on the things that you desire. Be selfish when it comes to your sexual desires. Make sure that you get yours when it comes to your sexual desires. I talk about in the sexual trauma video, I talk about how when you are constantly not being pleased, not being pleasure in your relationships or in your intimate experiences, when you're constantly being with people who do not please you, you are training yourself to not like pleasure. You are training yourself to not get things that you desire. You're pretty much telling the universe that what you want does not matter. So you're okay with just being a giver and not receiving anything. And y'all, what happens in the bedroom typically reflects what happens outside of the bedroom. So if you are somebody who does not get what you want in the bedroom, you're not pleased, you don't get things that you desire in your bedroom, then 9 times out of 10, you're not getting them in real life either. You're being walked all over. You're letting other people get theirs before you. You're just sitting around on the sidelines, letting everybody else get off while you're just over here like, okay, well, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Like, stop being so meek. Stop being so timid and go out and get what the fuck you want, not only in life but in the bedroom too. You deserve to be pleasured. You deserve to know what you like and for those things to be given to you. But it starts with knowing yourself, which goes back to the very first thing that I said. And then lastly, I want to say that you need to build an orientation around pleasure more than you build it around performance. If you build it around pleasure, then foreplay will typically get you where you need to be. It's sad to say that a lot of women have never really experience like real intimacy. They've just been fucked, honestly. Like, it's sad to say, but the majority of women, I feel like, have never even really experienced real intimacy, real sex, like real, like making love and things like that. Like a lot of women have never experienced that, and I hate that for you. So I want you to be able to get pleasure out of things outside of performance. Like, for me, the reason why I used to could tolerate guys who were not like up to par, like as far as like stroke game wise, was because they were very much so generous with everything else leading up to that. So I already got mine a few times before you even try to get yours. So by the time you do your little quick pumps or whatever, I'm not upset about it because that's just you getting yours. But I got mine a long time ago because I knew how to, for one, tell you I've never faked an orgasm before, y'all, and I hate every woman who has ever done that, because you make it hard for us. Like, if you are out here faking orgasms, you are pretty much setting these guys up with unrealistic expectations where they think that they're doing something when they're not. Tell them that they're not pleasing you. Tell them that this isn't working for you, and tell them in a way that is not taking a jab at their manhood or things like that. You have to not only just criticize, but you have to be able to correct in the same manner. Like I'm not just gonna tell you, hey, you ain't, this ain't that, like, unless I just really don't like you anyway. But I'm not just gonna be like, this ain't that, you need to get up, just leave. Granted, I have done that before too, but majority of the time it's more so like it was because I can't remember the last time I had bad sex. But most of the time it's really like, or it was more so like me just telling you, hey, this is not it. Like, you need to go slower, go faster, go back over there where you was at. Don't do all of that. Like, be more verbal, and not just verbal, but non-verbal as well. Your body language should be telling. Like, don't just be sitting there like acting like you're enjoying it when you're not. Like, move yourself. Like, if you want to take control, take control. If you don't want to take control and you still want to get off, then you need to be verbal. But if you're not going to say anything, then at least just do it. Like, but just do things that are more stimulating than just the actual penetration or whatever, like physical intimacy. Like, making sure that the aromatherapy is nice, making sure that the whole ambiance is just giving what it's supposed to give, that the right music is playing, or the sound waves are playing, the right smells and scents are going on in the room, like it's real sensual. The right my right material on your clothing. Is it satin? Is it 100% cotton? Because that cotton get hot real quick, what I'm saying? So you want to make sure that you are setting the environment well before you even start the actual act of having sex. It will help you to have more desirable experiences, and you'll actually enjoy it. It won't feel like a chore. It won't feel like you're just doing something to get off. Overall, enjoy the act of being intimate, because it is a beautiful thing. Like, and we should have it more. Like, I'm still abstinent, but I reckon y'all can get some for me. You know what I'm saying? So let me know if this was helpful for you guys. I do appreciate you for watching all the way to the end. If it was helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up, because it really does help with the algorithm, you guys. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.
I'm the spiritual type, and I'm a boss too. I'm a strong black woman. I can teach you femininity, the life of luxury. Come chill with me and let me show you. Yinka.